Spiritual Direction from Dante, Avoiding the Inferno, a book by Father Paul Pearson of the Oratory. Canto 22. Topics: the ultimate weakness of evil and the disintegrating power of evil. When early philosophers tried to explain the possibility of evil in the world, they concluded that there must be two causes of the universe we see, one who is good and the other who is evil. These two causes must be equal in power, otherwise one would have won the battle between them by now. This theory is called dualism because it holds the existence of two independent, eternal causes. The evil cause must be an impressive reality if it is capable of dueling an all-powerful and good God to a draw. But evil is not like this. Lucifer and the other fallen angels, the devil and his minions, left their glory behind when they rebelled against God. What remains in them is still powerful, but it is also despicable and laughable. And even if they were not corrupted by their fall, they are merely creatures of God. He made them, holds them in being, and uses them for his purposes. Do not romanticize them as much as literature has done. In line 1, the previous canto ends, and this one begins with what is obviously a display of bathroom humor. The devils are called into action by an unexpected sort of trumpet call. And the line says, "And he made a bugle of his arse." This provides some of the only comic relief we will be granted on our journey through hell. Perhaps this is a subtle reminder that those who abuse their positions of authority, although they might insist upon displays of respect and shows of status, are really, in fact, ridiculous figures. These thuggish devils are the sort of underlings that the corrupt officials might have hired while they were in power during their lives on earth, because these civic leaders would never have associated with them in any other way. Here, the lowlifes have taken control, and the sophisticated grafters have no choice but to humor them, obey when necessary, and to maneuver to stay clear of them. These devils, ignorant and brutish though they may be, treat the sinners here with some sort of contempt. They provide for the sinners a most personal revelation of what each of them did to those under their authority on earth. Regardless of how highly these men of rank thought of themselves while alive, underneath it all, they were just like these devils. These corrupt officials worked undercover. Their actions were hidden from the public view, covert. Here they continue in the mode of living they cultivated on earth. They must stay below the surface and out of sight. Disclosure is to be avoided whenever possible. What matters is not being seen, not getting caught. It is only for the briefest of moments, in order to lessen their pain, that they reveal themselves at all. They will break the surface like frogs in the shallow of a pond, but, like frogs, dive when one of the devils approaches. He who is too much in the open quickly becomes prey for the devils, and one unfortunate soul is captured by Dog Scratcher, one of the Malebranche, who quickly makes him the center of a cruel game, like cats playing with an injured mouse. And he says, "Claw him and strip the leather from his back." The cursed demons holler out all together, and they play with him like those in power often seem to toy with those powerless subjects who fall into their clutches. The public is seen, not as the master, someone whose good must be served, but as an object, some thing for the entertainment and enrichment of the official. The sin of the civic corruption objectifies the public that is supposed to be served. Here we see most clearly the fraudulence of corruption. These officials were given positions of authority in order to protect the common good, but used that very authority for their own private good. In line 53, we see the method of these grafters in the poor soul from Navarre. He is here for accepting bribes. He'd bleed people for as much as he could get. And here, he gets a feel for the sort of treatment he dished out. For the powerlessness of being manipulated, of being made sport of. He is at the mercy of the devils and gets gored by Swinetooth and is saved by Curlybeard only because he wants to save him for fun himself. And he says, "Keep clear, you. Mine's the fork for this one here." There is no mercy, just predators fighting over their supper. The soul from Navarre is not treated as someone, but as the property of Swinetooth and Curlybeard. Curlybeard seems willing to let the captured soul talk. As the cat lets the trapped mouse run around a bit, he's confident he'll get him sooner or later. Perhaps it's part of the punishment of this sort of sinner to be exposed, to have to talk. Having to name names is a sort of punishment in itself for those who are accustomed to working underground. Superheroes are often sent into battle against evil masterminds. We picture this evil force as well prepared and moving like a finely tuned machine. But evil does not work that way. It is fundamentally disordered. Virtues are habits that help direct our powers towards their proper targets, acting in accordance with reason. Since all of the virtues have the same goal, they focus our powers together, integrating our personality, making it whole. But evil desires chase after their own obsessions, pulling us in whatever direction. We are in the center of a moral tug-of-war. Keeping control over these disorderly powers often feels like herding cats, both exhausting and ultimately futile. No wonder St. Paul described what it feels like to have a fallen human nature. He said these words, "I do not understand my own actions, for I do not do what I want, but I do the very thing I hate." It was Romans 7:15. Sin disintegrates our personality. In line 70, we see there certainly isn't any honor among thieves in hell. There seems to be respect neither for one another nor for any sort of rules of engagement. Stormbreath gets tired of all the talking and rips the soul with his grappling hook. The others are just about to join in as well. Any semblance of order dissolves almost immediately. Chaos is always lurking in the background. When there is no rule of law, no one is safe. Anyone stronger can attack and take away what you have, and that is true even for demons. It is only by force that the evil claws can defend what they perceive to be theirs. Notice that in a society like this, no one, not even the bad guys, can rest safe. In a disorderly society, you can never know that you'll get a chance again, so you are forced to grab your opportunities where they come. Like the line says, "My leader did not pause." The unpredictability of life means that you need to be aggressive and assertive, snatching what you can get while you can get it. Attributes that might be necessary in the wild, but hardly contribute to civilized life. At the beginning of line 82, here the connection between graft and the breakdown of the bond of society is vividly portrayed. Taking bribes led this sinner to betray his master by releasing his master's enemies. Everyone, seeing the action from the outside, thought that he was motivated by mercy and a striving for holiness, forgiving even his enemies. But in reality, the bribe was all that moved him. The lower, selfish motive was masquerading as something noble. And this discussion gets cut off because a new threat has come into view, saying, "That other demon bears his fangs." Again, we see the disruptive effects of the disorder here. We can't even carry on a conversation without having to drop everything to respond to a new threat. And then look at the lack of respect between the Malebranche in line 96 when they say, "Get over here, you filthy cow." They do not look upon each other as glorious creatures or important operatives in a carefully planned mission. Those who have been glorious angels are now thought of, even by their own, as dirty birds. Even though this soul from Navarre, who had been seized by the devils, has suffered terribly already, He's still in the game, still trying to talk his way out of trouble. By offering to give the all-clear signal to his fellow corrupt officials and call them to the surface, either so they can speak to Dante or so that the devils can snatch them, depending on which lines you focus on, he gets the evil claws to withdraw. He'll say whatever it takes to get what he wants, and they fall for it, like macho men who can't bear not to accept a challenge or dare. The deceptive, corrupt official knows that, and he uses it to his advantage. We are reminded that the devils aren't really in charge. There is a constant struggle between the crafty crooks themselves and the brutal devils who patrol them. And these devils seem to be just as much one of the punished as one of the punishers. In 107, the line says, "It's all a trick." Yes, it is all a trick. The question is, however, a trick upon whom? Is the fast-talking official tricking the demon or his fellow sufferers? When he admits to being an evil trickster, he doesn't make matters any clearer, does he? He wants the evil claws to think that he is betraying his fellow souls, which he certainly might have done in the past. Here, there is no such thing as a stable alliance. No one is on your side, because it is definitely each man for himself. Harlequin, one of the evil claws, lets his own pride lead him astray. He falls for the trick because he thinks he'll be able to win. It isn't merely a matter of people knowing what you're doing is wrong. What really counts is whether they can catch you. Not getting caught becomes a sort of game in what Dante calls this new sport. The man makes good his escape, at which the devils, poor fools that they are, seem surprised. But rather than cutting their losses, they pursue him in a race between fear and shame. And fear wins, but only with an assist from one of the devils who wants to start a fight. The devil actually turns on the pursuer, attacking and being attacked by talons until both fall into the pitch. The canto ends with two sticky, humiliated devils being hauled out of the tar by the very hooks they used to torture the corrupt officials. As you can see, in this sort of disorder, no one wins.